it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. And where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, yes you are, eccentric, empowering. You're mine, she's a queen. You're mine, you're my. Treat her like no price could be put on how much she's worth. So valuable, she's the soul of the earth. Yeah. All a part of God's genius plan. Powerful as she can be, the man's H-E-L-P. Yes, sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She is humble, honest, and helpful. What I like about her is she's educated. She's my ebony, empowering. Yeah. She's my queen. Sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She's amazing to me. Humble, honest. If you ever had one, she's educated. She's my queen. She builds me up. She keeps me going. Sophisticated, strong. She's my queen. Simply amazing. She's simply amazing. She is. Oh my. She's my queen. Educated, ebony. She's educated and she's empowering. She is my queen. Well, hello, family. Hello, family. I know you're not used to seeing me on a Wednesday night. I was tied up with my family on Monday, Christmas Day, and I just didn't get a chance to get to the studio here to sit down and talk with you. So I said, well, let me just pop in randomly and let's see how that works out. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you had an amazing Christmas. And, I want you to have a very, very happy new year. I'm just trying to get some things situated here as I'm still trying to learn all of these buttons here. I was just sitting, pondering relative to really a question that, not a question even, it was really a request that was made for me to deal with what does it look like when a man has what I think they call has an avoidant attachment style of dating. In other words, this is a man that you can date and you can be very serious about, and he can seemingly be very serious about you, but he's almost like a can that he's almost like an oil can in the rain. He's very elusive. You can't seem to pin him down, lock him down. You can't get a handle on him. And he seems to avoid attachment. It's almost like he's, as I mentioned in the Father-Daughter Talk book, with some of the games that men play, it's almost like he's playing the monkey bars on you, where on monkey bars, you hold on to one while you reach for another. And a lot of times it feels like, a man is holding on and letting go at the same time. He's elusive. He avoids attachment. And this happens with younger women. This happens with older women. This happens with all women. In fact, not only does it just happen with women, sometimes it happens to men. Men want a commitment. Men want to try to make it work. But they have a woman that, for whatever reason, is avoiding attachment, avoiding commitment. But a lot of women struggle with men that just don't want to commit. And yet they don't want to let go, And because women tend to invest the heart a lot faster, women find themselves many times caught up in situationships where, it's really coming to nothing because we're just going around the same bush year after year after year, and we're not really making progress in the commitment department. Now, let's see something here. I'm trying to look at you all live, but I got to get over here where my notes are. Avoidant attachment style in dating refers to a psychological pattern where individuals have a fear of intimacy and closeness. Now, that's the main reason men are more guilty of avoiding than women. Believe it or not, men avoid love because men are dreadfully afraid of actually being in love. And that's for a lot of reasons. I think the main reason men are afraid of being in love is because we are trained by broken culture that a man is weakened by love. That somehow a man loses his mojo if he actually loves a woman, that a man, secures a certain measure of power if he can, go without actually loving a woman. And if he falls in love, that somehow that woman is going to destroy him. These are the things that we're taught. And we're taught the game in terms of how to psychologically manipulate and manage the woman. And so when a man falls in love, or a man is in love or allows himself to love, he feels like he's the one that's being gamed. So it refers to a psychological pattern where individuals have a fear of intimacy and closeness. We as men have a fear of intimacy and closeness, often due to past experiences that have led them to believe that depending on others is not safe or reliable. Now that's usually the case with women that struggle with avoiding attachment. It's usually based in past experiences, and sometimes with men as well. People with an avoidant attachment style may feel uncomfortable with emotional closeness and may struggle with committing to a long-term relationship. Now, here's where women really, 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 really miss it. And that is, women miss it when you feel like, or you believe that a man wanting to have a lot of sex with you means that that man is attached to you. It does not mean that. A man can have sex with a woman every day and not even really like her that much. But the way society has wired the consciousness of a woman many times believes, unless somebody teaches her better, that a man being sexually attracted to me means that he sees my value, he loves me, he values me. It does not. And so women many times allow the relationship to turn sexual, thinking that this means the man is attached. It does not. Leah and Jacob in the Bible, right? The Bible says that Jacob hated Leah. It literally says Jacob hated Leah, but yet he kept making babies with her. He was not attached to her, but he was having sex with her. And I think this is where many women get off track to a point that you cannot wisely manage your relational climate so as to be able to make a wise decision and to be able to say to yourself, this man is not going to commit as long as you stay in that bed, and as long as you're having sex with this man, it's going to always mess up your head. Because the way a woman is built, typically, unless a woman is severely broken, sex means attachment. When a woman lies in the bed, she has sex with a man, usually it means that on some level, she's attached. She's not just attracted, but on some level, she's attached, and she has hopes that this will go the distance. But for a man can go to the bed with just a shallow attraction, just a physical attraction. He may not view your mind as being current or relevant. He may not enjoy your company, but he may enjoy your body. And the way your feminine soul is wired, you believe that means attachment. It does not. It does not, because he can be out of the bed with you, and he can be in bed with another woman the same day and another woman the same night, right? And so you have to slow your roll as a woman. I try my best to communicate that. That's my mission, is to speak to a generation of women like fathers should have spoken to you, being their daughters, and to say the things to you that are needful for you to function in a perverted male society without losing yourself. A lot of women are losing themselves because you out here playing checkers when the brother's out here playing chess. And so let me jump into this. I'm looking at the feed and I need to be over here where my notes are. Number one, keeping signs that a brother is avoiding attachment. When he keeps things casual, when it's very casual, there's nothing formal about it. There's nothing definitive. When a man, especially after a man has gotten what he wanted sexually, and sometimes a man will begin to taper it off and keep it casual even before he's turned it sexual. If he's a respectful man, he'll probably try to avoid sleeping with a woman that he's avoiding attachment to. And a lot of times women get offended that a man hangs around, but he doesn't seem to want to pull the trigger when it comes down to the sexual attraction department. Sometimes it's not that a man is not attracted to you. Sometimes he's just, decent enough to try to avoid sleeping with a woman that he knows he does not want to attach to. And that usually boils down to, most women. He's going to be afraid if he's a broken brother, he's going to be afraid to embrace attachment. And this shows up in him keeping things casual. Whereas you're trying to define the thing, you're trying to formalize what this is we have. He's trying to keep it loose, undefined. Men with an avoidant attachment style may prefer to keep their relationships casual and avoid deep emotional connections. They don't want to have deep discussions about your feelings or what are you feeling. They might engage in short-term flings or casual sex rather than committing to a more serious relationship. This is why, and I know I'm going to probably get some pushback on it, but you just got to push. This is why brothers love the hookup culture, where women just feel like, I'm liberated and I can have as much sex as I want. I can do it just like a man can do it. It's because a brother gets a chance to have his cake and eat it too. He can have all the sex he wants with, generation of women that's just putting everything out there on Front Street, and he doesn't have to worry about committing to nobody. This is why the Bible says, and I mean, I know this is a generation that just feels like, sex is no big deal. And I can just, women feel like I can just give my body to every man that I choose to give it to. And I can use my body almost as as currency. I want to try to purchase commitment. So I'm gonna barter with my body. Babe, you'll never get to no commitment with your body. You'll never get to, okay. This is why the Bible says in Hebrews 13:4, marriage should be honored by all, and the marital bed kept pure. King James says undefiled, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. But it says marriage should be honored by all, and the marital bed kept pure. In other words, there has to be a formal covenant between two people. You cannot continue to embrace this casual, relational kind of culture where you're doing everything a wife is supposed to do. You're providing sex on demand. You pushing out babies without a last name or ring. You cooking and cleaning, and you're hoping that you can do all of this stuff and it'll ultimately end up at the altar. And to bring you through all of that, and go and formalize a relationship with another woman that didn't do any of that. It's because when a man is striving to keep things casual, He is avoiding attachment. It doesn't take a man long. Now, everybody doesn't have to agree with me. I'm not right all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not foolish enough to think that I'm right all of the time. And everybody doesn't have to agree with me, because even if I am right, it doesn't mean that there's only one way to be right about any particular subject. But I'll stand on my square with this. A grown man, it does not take a grown man a whole year of active dating to figure out if you are his wife. And when you allow a man to just casually linger around year, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, man, and you allowing that, you're not a flip-flop and jeans type girl. You are a tuxedo type girl. You can't allow a man to just handle you casually when you are. Dr. Amir Levine, a psychiatrist, says avoidance often fear that depending on someone will mean losing themselves or being controlled. That's the biggest fear of men. We don't want to be controlled by a woman. How do I know? I've been there. Avoid commitment, avoid attachment at all costs by any means necessary, because once you attach and you actually love a woman, you will be controlled by her. That's what the world teaches us. They may engage in casual relationships to avoid the deeper emotional intimacy that comes with commitment. Now, this is why a man will bounce from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman. The moment a man, watch this. Now, let me say this. This is going to set somebody free. A lot of times, women take it personally that a man just kind of flew the coop. You take it personally, like it's a reflection on you. It's an indication that your value is not what you thought. And a lot of times it has absolutely nothing to do with you not being valuable. Most of the time it speaks to the fact that the man is broken and he got afraid because he actually saw lifelong potential in the relationship. That's what it means. He actually ran from you because he actually saw lifelong potential in the relationship. And while you're taking it personally, the brother is running from you because he actually sees his wife in you. Now that doesn't mean you go run him down now. Oh, I knew he saw me. You're not supposed to run behind a man ever, right? You're not supposed to pursue a man ever, but you got to stop taking all of these things personally. Most men leave, or should I say a lot of men leave women because they see the woman that could potentially get them to let that guard down. This is how you have old dudes losing great women. It's because they've never been healed. They've never been delivered from that fear of, the vulnerability that love produces in a man. Right? This is why broken men call a man like me a simp, because I publicly express my love for my wife, and because I honor my wife, and because I'm faithful to my wife. They call me a simp. And that's really just hate. They don't have the strength of a healed man. When you go to dealing with a whole and healed man, you're not going to have to worry with all of this keeping things casual. A grown, healed man is going to be very definitive very soon. I'm looking for XYZ, and this is what I'd like to see in my wife to be. What are you looking for? let's date with intention. I had one man to tell me, or I had a few men to tell me actually, that that kind of directness ran women off because we're broken on both sides. For individuals with an avoidant attachment style, building trust and slowly increasing emotional intimacy over time can help counteract their tendency to keep things casual. See, what happens is when you have a person, you have a man specifically that wants to keep things casual, what you have to do as a woman, watch this, is, and it goes back to what I try to teach you, you're going to have to stop moving ahead of the man's pace. See, while he's trying to keep things casual, you should be, if he's at a 5, you should be at a 3. So he ain't got time to worry about him trying to keep it casual. He's trying to figure out why are you so casual about this, and why, of course, this means that you're not going to allow sex to be a part of this equation, because once you allow sex to be a part of it, you're giving the man everything he wants anyway. You got to keep sex off the table, and you got to allow him to always be more intense than you. This is how a woman can, I don't have a good way of saying this. This is how a woman can train, for lack of a more sophisticated way of saying it, but it's a lot more sophisticated than training a man, because we're not animals out here. But this is how a woman can teach a man. There you have it. This is how a woman can teach a man without him knowing it to break out of his commitment avoidance. This is how, going back to my and Lisa's story, this is how Lisa taught me to break out of commitment avoidance. What was I trying to do when I said to this woman that I knew I loved, I don't think I'm going to get married. I don't want to be married. It's best you go on with your life. What was I trying? I was trying to avoid the inevitable. I was trying to avoid commitment, like I had always done, right? And when she said, okay, and she went on with her life, what did that do? That put me in a position where I could no longer focus on, trying to avoid commitment to her. Now I'm trying to figure out, well, is she committed to me? What am I really missing here? You see, but when you see a man that's constantly keeping things casual, you're trying to define the thing, he's trying to keep it casual. You know what your next move is? To slow down in terms of communicating with him. Stop speaking all your heart. No. He's trying to keep things casual. You keep it more casual than him, but you got to keep sex off the table. The second thing that I've listed here is he sends mixed signals. When a man is avoiding attachment, he sends mixed signals. One day he makes you feel like you are the love of his life. The next day you can't even get him on the phone. And what happens is they might send mixed signals to keep their partners at a distance, alternating between moments of intimacy and then pulling away when things get a little too close. So it's almost kind of like, it's almost narcissistic in its pattern. Not that the guy is necessarily a narcissist, and not that he's necessarily not a narcissist, but it's almost narcissistic. It's like, I'm gonna gaslight you, I'm gonna give you everything you think you want, then I'm gonna pull back, and I'm gonna stonewall you. I may even fall off the scene, and then I'll come back around hoovering, and you got all of these different signals that are just constantly confusing you between moments of intimacy and then pulling away when things, begin to get too close. Matthew 5:37 in the New King James Version says, let your yes be yes and your no, no, right? For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Anybody that's not saying yes or no is somewhere, in the middle where the devil plays around, where you got all of these mixed signals, you got all of these gray signals. No, it's either black or white. It's yes or no. You're either with it or you're not, but mixed signals. According to Sue Johnson, a psychologist, she says mixed signals can be a defense mechanism for avoidance to keep partners at arm's length. They may fear being engulfed by the emotional demands of a committed relationship. They don't want to lose you, but they don't want you to consume them at the same time. So they put out all of these mixed signals. Have you ever known anybody that gave out a lot of mixed signals? Have you ever known anybody that gave out a lot of mixed signals where you didn't know what to believe? At a certain point, you have to stop waiting on their signal. And thank you, 50 in Fly. Thank you. You have to stop waiting on their signal, and you have to just stand your own ground. You have to stand your own emotional ground. You have to self-respect, and you have to draw the lines. You have to create the boundaries, and you have to enforce the boundaries. You got to stop waiting on somebody else's signal, right? Establishing clear and consistent communication can help counteract these mixed signals, because an avoidant is not going to be comfortable in a situation where there's clear communication, where there's direct communication, where you look them in their eye and you say, okay, this is this and that is that. And here's the line, figure it out. They're going to either start working on getting over this stuff and realize what they're losing, or they're going to move on with life. Because through open dialogue and setting boundaries, individuals can work on building. You construct your boundaries, but at the same time, you begin to teach the avoidant how to build towards trust and understanding in a relationship. Most avoidants have not had that. Most avoidants have not really seen commitment modeled. I guess in some cases they could have very well seen it like I did, but though I saw it modeled in my mother and my father's relationship, I saw commitment modeled. That is, I was influenced by the dominant culture around me, but when it all boiled down and I came to a point where I was conscious, it was my father's example of commitment to my mother that brought me to a place of clarity, and so there you have it. Now, number 3, let me hurry up because I'm taking too long here. Avoidance, people that are avoiding attachment, people with an avoidant attachment style of dating, emphasize independence. Now, let me rock the boat a little bit. They may consistently emphasize their need for independence and personal space, making it clear that they are not looking for anything serious or long-term. Now, they usually come up with all of this stuff about, I need my space after they've had sex. That's when you get the speech about, I just need my space and I'm not looking for nothing serious. It's always after sex. Prior to sex, they almost, if they're not saying to you, I love you and I want you to be in my life, leading up to sex, they saying and doing everything. They got the kind of energy you want, but once they got that sex, now there's this great emphasis on independence. But I love what Genesis 2:18 says, it's not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. All of us need that person that is suitable for us. Now, the beauty in that Genesis account of Adam and Eve is that they were both whole individuals. Adam was whole and fulfilled and happy as a single man. The world, God started the world with two happy singles, right? But then God says, after God creates a suitable mate for him, God says it's not good for him to be alone. Or God says, I'm not good for him to be alone. I'll make him a suitable mate. After he made that suitable mate, he then introduced the two. It is good for you to be alone if you don't have the person that is suitable for you. But going back to this emphasizing independence thing, now, I'm a big proponent of individuality. I think partnerships and marriages are built on two whole, complete individuals that merge their individuality into the institution of marriage to become something greater than either of them would be as individuals. But there's this emphasis when a person is avoiding attachment, there's this emphasis on independence. And here's the thing, this is what I meant when I said I'm gonna rock the boat. This is where a lot of women are missing it. You're dating, but you want to constantly emphasize, how independent you are. You don't need to emphasize that. Just be independent. Because a man, if you have a real man, a masculine man, he wants to fit into your life in a place where you need him, right? And if you're just constantly out here bragging about, I don't need this and I don't need that, and I can do this for myself and I can do that for myself, well, you kind of working against your actual objective. You got to learn how to settle down with all of that, I can do it all by myself stuff. And you just got to learn to, allow your feminine essence to blend with his masculine. And don't make the emphasis on independence as much as, watch this, you want to make the emphasis on interdependence. I'm not going to lose myself to be in a relationship with you. I want to maintain myself. I want you to maintain you. And let's bring both of ourselves together into this thing called marriage. Dr. Stan Tatkin says avoidance often prioritizes independence as a way to protect themselves from vulnerability and emotional hurt. They fear losing their sense of self in a committed relationship. Now, my time is gone. Number 4, avoiding what signs that you're dealing with a man that's avoiding attachment, avoiding future planning. Men with an avoidant attachment style might more than likely avoid discussions about the future or making long-term plans with their partners, as this can feel too constricting or threatening to their sense of independence. But Jeremiah 29:11, speaking of the Lord, he says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. If there are no plans, there is no future. I pause right there for a reason. If there are no plans, there is no future. If a man does not have plans, you do not have a future with that man. And a man that avoids future planning is less than a leader. Leaders have plans. Dr. John Bowlby says, avoidance may avoid future planning as a way to maintain emotional distance and protect themselves from the perceived constraints of commitment. So what should you do here? Slowly introduce discussions about the future and taking small steps toward shared goals. Individuals can work on overcoming or help their partner work on overcoming the fear of commitment. Now, if there's no response to you introducing discussions about the future, that is the indication to you it's time for you to move on. Where are you going to go with a man that doesn't want to discuss the future? All he want to talk about is where we're going to go to lunch, where we're going to go to dinner, and having sex later. Wow. You can do that for the next decade. Are you willing to give your life, your time to a man that has no plans for your future? Come on, man. Number 5, you know that a man is he's avoiding attachment when he's constantly focused on your flaws. Whenever he wants to back out of a situation, he turns the focus to your flaws. In fact, they might hyper focus on their partner's flaws or nitpick about minor issues in order to create emotional distance, chaos, to justify their reluctance to commit. Every time it looks like you all are getting closer and the bond is being developed, they start focusing on flaws and they blow the thing up out of proportion. 1 Corinthians 13:4 says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, but is what? Love is what? Patient and kind. Dr. Harville Hendricks says, criticizing or focusing on flaws can be a defense mechanism for avoidance to create, again, emotional distance and to avoid vulnerability. Whenever they feel like you're getting too close or you're getting, ingrained in their heart, they go to focusing on your flaws. They create a lot of drama. Number 6, you know that a man is avoiding attachment when he prioritizes work or hobbies entirely over you. When a man puts his work and his hobbies way ahead of you. Because let me tell you something, I don't care who a man is or what he does, he can be the president of the United States of America. If he loves a woman, he's going to find or make time for that woman. When a man does not make time for you and he's constantly blaming it on work or hobbies, he's avoiding attachment. He's avoiding commitment. He's avoiding commitment. He's avoiding attachment. So they may prioritize work, hobbies, or other activities over spending time with you, using these external commitments as a way to maintain distance and avoid deep emotional connection. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for man. In other words, whatever you put your hand to that's worthwhile, put your whole heart in it. When a man is really healthy and he's really trying to make a relationship work with you and not just keep you in the lineup relative to sex, he's going to prioritize you. And then number 7, and I'm out of here. Withdrawing, you know that a man is avoiding attachment when he withdraws when emotions intensify. He'll mess around and he'll say to you, Friday night, I love you. I think I love you. And by Sunday, he's finding a way to create an argument. Soon as emotions intensify, he finds a way to exit stage left. Soon as emotions intensify, he finds a way to exit the relationship. When emotions intensify or the relationship reaches a certain level of intimacy, men with an avoidant attachment style might withdraw or create distance to protect themselves from feeling vulnerable. It happens more than you realize. You think the brother has fallen off the scene because it speaks poorly of you. The reality is it's really speaking greatly of you. It just speaks to the brokenness in the man. He's emotionally, what's the word? Non-intelligent. He doesn't possess emotional intelligence. Who is this? This is Mary Ainsworth. She says avoidance may withdraw when emotions intensifies away, again, to protect their hearts from feeling overwhelmed or engulfed by the demands, the emotional demands of a close relationship. It triggers them. Most men are triggered by heavy emotion. Now, these are just 7 things that that I laid out for you that reflect. I want you to just kind of dig a little deeper into this, because many of you are dealing with men that are exercising in avoidant attachment style dating, and you're trying to figure out, why can't I peg this guy down? And here's the biggest problem I have with it. You will spend years. You hear what I'm saying to you? You will waste years trying to lock a man down. You cannot lock a man down. A man either submits to the process, respects your value and your worth, or he doesn't. You got to clearly communicate. You got to draw your line. You got to enforce your line. And you got to learn to move on with your life within a respectful and reasonable amount of time. You hear what I'm saying? You can't let a man that's just kind of sliding in and out of attachment, you can't allow that man to just keep preoccupying your life, especially if you've allowed the relationship to turn sexual. You definitely got to enforce your boundaries at that point. You've allowed yourself to be made that vulnerable, and you got to choose your pain, because I know it may be hard to change now, but babe, trust me, it's better to change now than to change 10 years from now. You losing less by changing today than you would be losing if you gave this man another decade of your life and he's not committing to commitment. He ain't talking about no marriage, and you're a wife. You're not just, a woman. You're not just somebody, that you slide through twice a week to sleep with. That's not who you are. Though you've been allowing him to handle you like that. That's not who you are. And so you need a man. If you're gonna have a man that you can respect, you're gonna have to have a man that knows how to commit. Patrice says, I have a question. What is your question, Patrice? How can I reach out to you? Reach out to me at RCBLAKESMINISTRIES@gmail.com. Reach out at RCBLAKESMINISTRIES@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to answer your question. Put it in bold letters now, because I get a lot of emails. Put it in bold letters. This is Patrice from YouTube with my question or something like that. Yeah. So, hey man, you got to respect yourself. When the world around you is not respecting you, you got to respect yourself. When the person you love is not loving you the right way, you got to learn to love yourself. And when you know you deserve to be a wife, you got to stop playing the role of a girlfriend, a bedmate. Right? And so, hey, listen, I hope that you've gotten something out of my little spilled today. I want you to go to my website, rcblakes.com, sign up for the mailing list. Hey, listen, if you plan on coming to Queenology, you need to probably secure your ticket as soon as possible. I think half of the VIP, the Royal Court, I think the wife said half of that is already sold out. We're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, August 23rd through 25th at the Whitley Hotel. You want to be there. You want to be there. It's going to be an amazing experience. Go to my website. Thank my daughter Cassandra with Ruby Designs Web Consulting. Thank you, sweetheart, for putting that link in the chat today. Sign up for my mailing list. If you're not aware, my Facebook page, my public Facebook page, RCBLAKESJr, has been hacked. So if you see a lot of crazy stuff on it, that's not me. So that really pushes me to emphasize the fact that, speaking of my daughter Cassandra, she's building out platforms for me for our cyber church community, apps for RC Blakes Ministries. I think we're going to start moving towards more of a private situation as opposed to using all of the different social media platforms as much. Of course, I'm going to stick here with my YouTube, and I'll still be on social media, but I want everybody that's connected to me to be ready to make the transition with me to private platforms. Social media has just gotten a lot too toxic and unpredictable. But go to RC Blake, sign up for the mailing list, check out all of the online programs, go to Amazon, pick up all of my books while you're there. Thanks to all of you. I didn't get a chance to see everybody that's sown into our lives tonight. Thanks to all of you that have done that. If you're anywhere around the Houston, Texas area this Sunday, the last Sunday of 2023, you should meet us at the New Home Church. Come close the year out with us at New Home Houston, 4805 Shermire Road. I have this thing I'm going to do relative to prophetic declarations for the year 2024, right? Yes, 2024. And I'd love to have you there for 11 o'clock. Lisa and I would love to meet you this Sunday. Listen, thank you for the impromptu attendance. Been great tonight. If you don't mind, before you leave out, please like this video to help us to get it as much attention as possible. If I can get my focus back, as much attention as possible. I love you all. I want you to have an amazing, 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 amazing day, amazing night, depending on what part of the world you're in. And just know that you're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. God bless you. Until next time.